Environmental resources, okay.
That's the current one, I think from the comp plan. So it shows all the steep slopes, ravines, lakes, lands. Parcels, all
That's
that.
not up to date.
That's the one that's the most recent one that's been ever been published.
So that's where we run the question of, and
Okay.
then this is our parcel where we wouldn't have anything on.
That's the wetland map, but even that's not accurate. In the floodplain map,
No, the wetland map's separate.
yeah.
That map has steep slopes, forested, and,
In the ravines. and all
yeah,
that,
yeah.
So this is where we, you know, the
Then why,
parcel that we're.
why is the map I have that I drew up not on that?
That I couldn't tell you, I mean, that's
Because that was
back,
the one that was adopted when we adopted that.
well, we drew up from that back in CAD.
But what our regulations talk about is specifically the Urbach map.
What's that?
No.
Yeah, that's the one that was adopted by the town board and published.
We are live streaming now, folks, just so everybody's aware. Hi, Matt.
I heard differently.
There was that map, the wetlands.
It's not up to date.
Who asked that question?
What, sorry?
Somebody back there had a question.
I didn't hear.
We just asked what the discussion was,
The meeting's
Meeting hasn't started yet. so-
We'll discuss that when we get to the. Hi, John. Hey, Mike.
Happy New Year.
And what time is that thing even running? Just because the wheels are turning. doesn't-
Brand,
It looks
Brand new.
about an hour off. I think it's an hour off. So if we wait past, what, March?
Look at that hour.
My watch says that it's 6:57.
yeah.
I have 57.
Oh, that's a different time zone.
Look at this.
Don't go too much further. The cord is almost fully stretched.
Shut that off.
Something happened with the signal.
Uh-oh.
They traded the whole thing.
They sold the team. We're gonna have an expansion team.
Glad that happened now.
They squeak a little more.
It says 6 o'clock. It's 7.
Yeah.
Okay, our clock says 6 o'clock, but it is truly 7 o'clock, I promise you. So we're going to start the meeting. If we could please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Cindy.
Chair Tomaso?
Here.
Rebecca Anderson?
Here.
John Coltis?
Here.
Anthony Gorski?
Here.
Joseph Keith?
Here.
Lawrence Korzenowski?
Here.
Michael Reynolds?
Here. Okay, welcome, everyone. Happy New Year. This is a meeting of the Planning Board of the Town of Lancaster. Please keep in mind that we are an advisory and recommending board and not a final decision-making body. I'm also going to read our rules of order because I feel like there's going to be a few people that are going to want to speak today. For persons addressing the planning board, persons may address the planning board at any regular planning board meeting. The planning board will hear the concerns of the public at regular planning board meetings for a period of 15 minutes per project. A person desiring to be heard shall raise his or her hand and be recognized by the chair, give his or her name and address to the secretary, speak directly to the planning board members, not the audience, using the microphone provided, speak once for 3 minutes or less, unless the planning board grants a speaker an extension of this time limit. And then the order of the project review will be the applicant will present their project. Planning board will have the opportunity to discuss and ask questions of the applicant. Public will be allowed to speak within the rules of order that I just read to you. And the planning board will have the opportunity to ask additional questions and then determine action on the project. At this point, we'll take a look at our prior meeting minutes.
Just a couple little typos.
Okay, you want to give them to me?
Yeah. There's a couple little typos. Let me do it now?
Sure.
Okay, actually under the Wood Spring Suites, you're down here talking about, just above your highlighted word public input, talking about traffic concerns, and you put NYSDEC instead of DOT by mistake. Small error, but important. Yeah, I didn't have anything there. I thought I had. Hold on. Nope, that was it. Everything else was just my notes. Thank you.
Okay, any other modifications for the board? Hearing none, ask for a motion to accept.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. All right, we'll move on to the communications list. Okay, our first order of business will be to have a public hearing, which is a little different than what I read as far as the order goes on it, but it's still the same rules that I read to you. We're going to have a public hearing for the preliminary plat plan for project number 2954 Wood Spring Suites at 0 Maple Drive. At this point, we'll I'll look for a motion, to open up a public hearing.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Okay, anybody from the public who would wish to speak at this point? Please come to the podium. If you wouldn't mind, again, state your name for the record.
Sure. My name's Andy Buscemi, 96 Maple Drive. This is my wife, Kristen Buscemi, 96 Maple Drive as well. Just hopefully a 2-minute prepared statement for you. Good evening. At the previous meeting about the proposed Wood Spring Suites project, the project engineer turned to the residents of the community and lectured us on zoning, stating that it's either going to be this or something else. While I personally believe in free markets and capitalism, we should also recognize that planning committees exist for a reason. to ensure responsible development that serves the best interest of both the town and its community. In this case, I would argue that what's best is in fact something else or nothing at all. Why? Because if we're going to build a 122-room hotel, then the surrounding infrastructure must be able to support it, and right now it does not. There are no sidewalks, and pedestrians have no protection from increasing traffic flow already. The regular speeding and continuous traffic accidents on Maple Drive, as it's used for a cut-through from Genesee to Transit, continue. Between our last meeting and this one, a vehicle came around the corner, slid into my property, came right around. As a matter of fact, I wasn't going to show this, but I think I'm going to. So this is between our last conversation and today's. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
That happened. So this is like the 5th time we've had cars hit trees and all that kind of stuff. It's not, the street is, it's crazy with what goes on there. So that's between the last time and today. And I didn't even tell her until today because she gets so upset about it every time because I got 2 little boys. So every time that happens, she gets, so there are others too. I can show that too, but let me finish the statement. In any event, it's now been 5 times since 2022 where vehicles have driven off the road into our property, hitting our trees 2 times. And also with no traffic light at the intersection of Maple and Transit, which makes turning left in peak traffic hours incredibly difficult as it already is. Before we add a 122-room hotel, which will only amplify those problems. Adding more vehicles, more congestion, and more safety concerns. There are plenty of other locations directly on Transit Road, for example, that are better suited for a better large commercial hotel. The point is the proposed parcel and its current layout do not support the necessary infrastructure or safety measures required for development at that scale. As it was brought up at the last meeting, for me personally anyway, if the proposed project property could be joined into a cul-de-sac with the other commercial properties directly from Transit Road, then it at least makes more sense to me personally. As it stands, I urge the planning board to consider the real impacts on traffic, pedestrian safety, and community character. I respectfully suggest that this particular project in this particular location is not a need at all when we already have multiple hotels in the immediate area that serve as lodging for travelers, and it is not a good fit for the town of Bowmansville or the Bowmansville's residents. Thank you for your time and consideration. That's my prepared statement. Did you want to?
Oh, yeah, I wanted to add something as well. Hi, thank you. So I was reading through the mission statement of the town developing plan in Lancaster Town, and I guess I would just ask you this. Does this project in the heart of the hamlet of Lancaster, Bowmansville, where there are precious wetlands, does this serve our community, or is it serving developers and transient folks who are coming through our community?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak? Please come up.
Kathleen Pajacki, 112 Maple Drive. I believe you may have received a letter from me earlier this week with all of our concerns with wildlife. And as Kristen had said, does this fit in the scope of saving our green space? It's one of the oldest forests in the area. It also will put a lot of impact on our police and fire, which are constantly at Red Roof for multiple transit people. This 122-room hotel, when I've done research, does not have very good reviews. So what kind of people are coming into this type of hotel? I just wanted to voice a few more concerns that I had on top of the letter.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public care to speak? Please come up.
Tim Hogue, 54 Maple Drive. Voiced my concerns at the last meeting, just want to reiterate it. We are a small community. We already have an overflow of cut-through traffic that makes it extremely dangerous on our street already. And to add 120 new room and transient community coming through would just add to that. Also, the impact on our wildlife. Christmas morning, had 14 deer in my backyard. Wonderful, being able to feed them apples, hang out, have wild turkey all the time, and most of them I know do reside in the location where they are proposing to build. And I would hate to see those wildlife displaced. I think it's a big part of the draw of our community is that ability to interact with the wildlife, birds, deer, turkeys, all those type of things. I'd hate to see that go away. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public here to speak? Please come up. Hello.
JP Zeiss, 41 Maple Drive. I would be neglected if I did not support my fellow community members that live on that same street, and would like to echo sentiments that many of them have expressed this evening, certainly in relation to public safety. I think it's pretty well documented and clear that such residents or hotels or motels definitely put a strain on the police and fire services. I can speak to numerous individuals that have come from the Red Roof Inn and surrounding hotels that have posed a safety risk. You know, I do not want to cast aspersions on any individuals that benefit from these things and do not want to be judgmental in any way, but it is a fact that, you know, there's a safety concern when we do not have sidewalks and increasing traffic flow. That would be a fact. It is also a cut through right now. And, you know, if we are going to consider this, can we not consider putting into place some additional safety measures or things that do not currently exist? People have rights, but we also have a right to safety. We have a right to keep our children safe. And without those sidewalks and the increased level of traffic, I think you could speak to the police about this. I'm sure they're well aware, and they have been present, and we appreciate that. But it has not done much to satisfy the fact that it is a pretty high volume street for traffic and people speeding down there. We do not have the appropriate signage. Maybe we could look at speed bumps. Maybe we could look at closing off that end of the street, as is the case for a development that sits by Maple Drive right now, where they have the arms that prevent traffic that go down that other street. If they want to have more commercial industry on that end, can we not make an attempt to then separate it some way? So there's compromise, and there should be compromise. But at this point, if we're just going to allow for this to happen, when we know that these issues exist, I think it's negligent. But I appreciate your time, and thank you for at least considering what we're saying.
Thank you. Anyone else from the community care to speak? Please come up.
Leslie Hogue, 54 Maple Drive. I just wanted to point out that on Google Maps right now, there are already 9 hotels in the area surrounding Maple Drive within half a mile of that. I would like to know if there is a reason, based on the occupancy rates of this hotel, that there is a need for another one when there is already a Home 2 Suites, which is considered an extended stay. I don't understand why within half a mile we need another one. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else care to speak? Please come up.
Becky Hogue, also at 54 Maple Drive. It's my family there. This was brought up also the last time. Just want to reiterate, water pressure, sewage issues that we have in our area. Our homes have old piping under the grounds. We have issues with backup of sewage and the like. We had down Stutzman across the way, water pressure issues for fire services. We've been dealing with that over the last couple of years as well. So we are also concerned with the additional rooms, the additional infrastructure for plumbing and sewage, how that's going to affect us and our homes, and negatively, we assume. That's what I want to say about that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other family members or anyone else from the public that would please come on?
Good evening.
Hello.
Is it Rico 101 Maple Drive? All these people have good points, but once again, why do we need a 4-story hotel when right across Transit Road, there's 2 areas there that would be perfect for building, including where the Clarion is that didn't even make it? Somebody said that there was, I don't know how many hotels there were, I'm sorry, looking back, 9, but actually there's 11 within 0.8 of a mile from there. Occupancy, not sure of. And as far as this hotel here, it's only got 2-star rating. You go anywhere on the internet, a 2-star rating, and their quality is poor when you read all their results. Do we want that in our neighborhood? Not at all. We don't want a 4-story with all the lights and everything else. We want to keep it the way it is. Historic Bowmansville, that's what we want. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Supervisor Leary.
Yeah. Just trying to get a feel for it. If it came down to separating the street into 2 different streets, how would the people on Maple feel about that? Stop the cut through in that area, turn it into a circle or something at the end so nobody can get through there. That might help you with the cut through to begin with. I'm not saying one way I'm voting on the actual hotel, but would something like that be something that you people would be interested in? Because I think we should take a hard look at that and see how it can be separated to cut off that traffic coming through there.
Would we be getting a light then down on Genesee Street? Because then our option is to go down there. So you work for Aqua. So what we do now is we have to make, excuse me, but we have to make a right and go up to Worley frequently so we can get out, because you can't get out on Genesee Street because, or down on Genesee Street because there is so much traffic to make a lot. It's impossible. And we just keep putting up more buildings and more buildings and more buildings. And you look around, and there are buildings for sale for lease, land for sale for lease, buildings for, it's like we just cover the green space with blacktop, and then it stops.
Okay, but do you go up to Transit Road? Again.
We have to and make a right, because you can't make a left at the time without risking another accident with yourself.
So again, I'm trying to get a feel.
So-
Would it be something
With the fire
good
trucks,
to make that, we would come up with a way for the fire trucks and the law. But if we cut that down into 2 separate streets,
I think,
we wouldn't have to cut through.
I think if we were left with no other option, right, if you're stating that the likelihood that you're going to approve such a project left us with that and nothing, then I think most of us would agree that yes, we would like it separated.
Yes.
Do I want the impact and wildlife? No. Do we want another business there? Do we want that? No. So if you're going to vote that we must have something, then I would say personally, we want the street separated. I think that would make a massive difference.
But that's not our
I'm not saying one way to vote at all right now.
Yeah, if I could just bring it back here, this is the planning board, and we're just trying to listen to what the public has to say, and we Supervisor Leary is our liaison for the town board, and he's here to listen and offer his suggestions, but it's not, this isn't the town board meeting, and it's not the voting, it's not the vote, so we're grateful for all the input and glad that we heard what you had to say, and the dialogue that just happened between yourselves and the supervisor is great.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
We're dividing this up into 2 properties, is that part of this?
Yes.
Or are you confused?
Yes.
What are we using the second part of the property for? The second, because the hotel will be on one part, and what's on the other part? Other section.
We don't know yet.
Plan in front of us for
For
that?
sale, correct?
Yeah, it's not in front of us. That's not in front of us right now, so,
So we don't help us? Okay, thank you.
sure. So, any other public comments? Okay, hearing none, look for a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Okay, public hearing's closed. Now, if we could, we're going to move on to the, let me just check here, who called it. Oh. The preliminary plat review, or seeker review and site plan, sorry about that. If you could then make your presentation. Sorry about that, Rebecca.
No, you're fine. All right, Rebecca Spur with BME Associates. We're the civil site engineers for the applicant. Indus Hospitality Group. Also with me tonight is John Ott from Indus, if there's any questions from him. So before we were before the board last December, we presented this project in depth. I'm going to kind of I'll give a brief summary just of the project and hit some high points and then discuss some correspondence that we've received to date. So the applicant is proposing to develop roughly 2 acres, that's our disturbance, of an existing 3.9 acre parcel. So the applicant will be looking to develop the parcel, subdivide the parcel. It's a 2.5 acre parcel, and it would be the parcel closest to the Red Roof Inn. This parcel, the 3.9 acres, is all zoned general commercial within the town's code. Under the general commercial district, a hotel is a permitted use and thus permitted here on this parcel. The site plan has been developed per the general commercial development standards. It's also been developed to accommodate emergency vehicles as well as delivery vehicles. And there's adequate parking on site. We've kept the parking to the minimum per code and what the applicant would desire. There's also electric vehicles charging stations and ADA accessible charging stations, or ADA accessible parking spaces, excuse me. We're proposing a singular access off Maple Drive as well. At the last meeting, it was discussed in depth about sidewalks. I know the applicant is willing to, contribute if it's along the frontage of his property. I know we can discuss that and work with the town. Public utilities will be provided from Maple Drive. There's water as well as sewer that we're extending from the Red Roof Inn. There's public sewer main. We've been in contact with the Erie County Water Authority and Sewer District to facilitate those approvals. The hotel will be sprinkled. We'll have private hydrants on site, so there's adequate hose coverage there. Regarding stormwater, the disturbance is 2 acres, so we've provided our stormwater pollution prevention plan. We've provided that to the town, and we'll work with them to move forward and on that review. It is designed per the DEC's current design manual. The site currently contains highly infiltrative soils, which is a good thing, and the stormwater management plan has been designed to utilize those soils. We have an infiltration basin on site, an underground chamber system, so that will collect the runoff, most all of the proposed impervious runoff, and temporarily detain and then infiltrate into the ground. We've done geotech report out here to confirm all the infiltration as well. We've submitted a landscape plan that shows foundation plantings around the site, as well as trees to break up the parking lot. In order to save as much of the existing vegetation as possible, there are some steeper slopes adjacent to the parking areas around the exterior. So that's why you don't really see trees along the exterior, because we really wanted to cut the slope and save as much of the trees as possible. A lighting plan that has been submitted. We show no light spillage. We show dark sky compliant and all of the mounting heights per code. We've received town engineer comments, which were minor, kind of some typical cleanup stuff, and we'll work with Ed to complete those. We've also contacted the DOT, and they've been contacted through the seeker process, I do believe. We've notified them of the development for an initial review. We have heard back. We provided that correspondence to the town. They've stated that this project will not have a significant impact to the traffic. When we provide the DOT, we give them the project, we give them trip generation calcs, they look at it, their engineers look at it, and they determine if any further review is required, if there's anything warranted and improvements, and then came back and said no further review. The plans were also submitted, as I mentioned, to Erie County Water and Sewer, so the Erie County agencies that will be approving this, we've heard back, and then working with them through minor plan work. We've been in receipt of the DEC's letter as well, through their seeker coordination. Some of these comments have already been redressed. We've shared our SHPO correspondence, so we've received their no effect letter sign off. We've submitted the SWIP, and we'll work on the MS4 acceptance sign off. We are aware of the updated wetland regulations as of January 1st. January 2nd, we submitted to the DEC to get their determination if there are any wetlands, to get the determination of their limits of jurisdiction, excuse me. At the time we submitted this application, and currently, we were not proposing any disturbance to wetlands or floodplains or floodways. That is through mapping that is available online through the state and the federal agencies, as well as the town, that we were able to find from the comp plan, from online, from the resource mapper. So we are not proposing any disturbance to those features. So I think with that, any questions?
Any questions from the board?
A hotel project like this came up before, and the big problem then was that forest that's there. Has there been any kind of study about that? That's a spectacular woods there. And as a lot of people have said, there's a lot of wildlife and other issues there. I would think there'd have to be some sort of study. I'm not sure about what kind of trees are there, and I think they called it a climax forest, and it was so special that it was turned down then, probably 10 or 15 years ago, maybe longer. I remember it. Do you have any comment about?
I'm not aware of any studies. I'm speaking for the applicant takes a look at the parcels that are, zoned and permitted for these uses. We take a look at the available mapping and what's under jurisdiction, and
do you have any pictures with you now to show what that site looks like?
I do not have on me. I've been there. We've been there.
Yeah, I know, I've seen it, but just so that everybody else can see it. Okay. I think that's my biggest concern, frankly.
Yeah, I will say, we have the layout and the stormwater design, and we've taken a look to try and really minimize the amounts of disturbance here. Going to a 4-story hotel, that's, instead of going out, we want to go up to really, truly only take the land that's required. We're providing minimum parking. Our stormwater is underground through chamber systems instead of a big stormwater pond, and so we're really trying to utilize features that contain the site, push it as close to the red roof and as possible. And when this parcel was looked at, it really is, when you look at the town zoning map, a part of the transit commercial district. It's in line with the other 4 or 5 3-story hotels adjacent to residential districts. So I think those were all things considered.
You're talking about the hotels along Transit, right?
North of the Thruway.
Oh, north, on the other side?
Where Russell's is, and Spring Hill, and there's a Home 2. I think those are all 4 stories, and one's 5 stories.
But it's north of the Thruway, and it's not the same sort of site.
Clearly, you sat here and listened to a lot of people from the community. I'm sure that some of those, most, if not all of those things, had to resonate with you. You can imagine if you were in their position, living in the neighborhood. So I would be interested to hear and what type of remedies you could come up with to alleviate some of the concerns that they have.
Relating to the...
Well, one I wrote down, water flow in particular is one that came to my mind. I know sidewalks was one that you talked about around your property, but water flow. What is this?
Water pressure.
Water pressure, I'm sorry, water.
Yeah, so we working with the Erie County Water Authority, we submit, and the town engineer, I mean, we submit, as part of our engineer's report, we submitted our water supply calculations, which analyze the pressures. The Erie County Water Authority has conducted flow tests in front of our property that we'd be tying into. That flow test we utilize to do the supply calculations. We provide those to the Erie County Water Authority. And we have minimums we have to meet at the site, and so that the system is not jeopardized as well, which they look at, and we're meeting those minimums. And they did not determine any capacity issues or pressure issues. It could be low, that's not an issue to them. There's historic low pressure systems.
Sure.
So we're meeting the minimums as required.
Okay.
How about access to the source and capacity? Is there adequate capacity?
Similar response to the water I just gave. We've been in contact with the county sewer. They're in review, and we, as part of that review, they do complete a capacity analysis, and that is something that we will review.
Have you received that information yet?
No, we have not.
Ask, why are you subdividing?
Mainly, Indus just wants to purchase the land they need for the hotel. They only need a certain...
Remaining land looks pretty much like a site that could be another hotel, if you ask me.
That would be up to the owner. Indus would own and operate this parcel only, yes.
That's okay. John, Vice President, Development and Construction for Indus. A couple of things you guys have brought up in the sidewalk, which we previously acquiesced. If you guys would like a sidewalk and it is doable on that site, you know, for our property, obviously, we'd be happy to do that. And, you know, if the municipality or the partner properties want to add sidewalks, we'd certainly work together to join them. You know, I think that would be ideal. That answers some of the concerns for safety, which we completely understand. I don't believe the owner was looking to develop that. I don't want to speak for him. I believe he owns the property close to there, and I think that he wanted that as a buffer for, you know, for his property where he stays. I can't speak 100%, but I don't believe he wants to develop. We only needed a small part. There's no reason to take over this whole piece of property. We don't really need it. We do minimize the footprint, which we work with BME. They're simply the best at trying to, you know, one thing that's important for us to mention is we don't sell hotels. We build, own, operate our hotels. Our owner still has the first one he built 25 years ago in Springville. He doesn't sell them. We reinvest in them, we remodel them, we keep them. We work with the communities in which we're in, and that's our motto. So we own and operate over 50 hotels and restaurants, and they're all owned by the owner who lives, you know, in Monroe County, where our offices are based. So I think it's important for everyone to understand that we don't develop these and just sell them off. And you're welcome to go and visit any of our properties. We'd be happy to show you. Just cold call any one of our properties. We maintain them spectacularly. We reinvest millions of dollars every year in our properties. We just renovated our Springville Hotel, which is almost 25 years old. We invested millions of dollars there. We went over to Olean and did the same thing. We're starting in Wellsville right now. We're investing another $2 million there. We like smaller communities. That's our niche. We're in a lot of small communities across the southern tier. Dansville, Hornell, Wellsville, Olean. We're down in the Finger Lakes. I mean, this is what we do, but we don't develop these to sell off to somebody else. The owner's been in this business a very long time, and they feel very passionate about hospitality. So I think it's important for me to put that out there so everyone understands. Mentioning as far as dividing the road in half, we wouldn't have an issue with that. We believe most people that are transients are going to go where Google tells them. It's going to come from Transit Road to the hotel and back out. When I travel, I don't get creative. Splitting that road, if it sounds like a lot of the problems we have now already exist or local, so if that would help alleviate the problem, I don't think it would have any effect on our business whatsoever. So we would be in obviously support of that. So, but any questions you guys have for us, we're to answer. And the nice thing about, you know, me coming to all of these meetings is I'm the face that can be tracked down easily if there is a problem, because we're not going anywhere. So we're easy to find.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions from the board?
Sorry if I missed it. Does this have relief from zoning for height or?
Height, yes.
Needs a
Height
variance.
variance. So 35 feet is
So it does
allowed.
have to go to zoning?
Yeah, we'll have to go there.
And we have submitted that application.
Wasn't there 2 variances you needed?
Just one,
Just one height?
yes.
Obviously, we don't vote on that, but my personal opinion is, that- and I think a precedent was started a long time ago, is I don't see the need for all these 4-story hotels in the town of Lancaster, but obviously, we can't change what was already done. And we're not the zoning board, so we don't really have a say on that.
Mhm.
Any other questions from the board?
No.
Ed, anything from engineering?
Couple of comments. I know there was a question about pressure, and that has to go back to the Stutzman Pleasant View area. The Water Authority system is different pressure zones, fed from different areas. This area is fed different than what's fed into Stutzman, so that's why they're not finding any issue feeding this side of the town. Okay. Sewer, they're doing a downstream analysis, I assume. Yeah.
Correct. That's typical with all
Yeah, so-
new developments, pretty much.
Yeah, and we haven't seen those results yet. Question I have, and just in my own mind, so I'm clear. Are you buying the entire parcel and then doing the split, or is the original owner keeping it, splitting it?
The original owner's keeping that.
Gotcha, okay, so you're not, okay, I got you.
Jennifer, anything from legal?
No, Ed stole my question.
Matt, anything from building department?
No other responses were made from the comment letters, and their request for review.
Supervisor Leary, anything from you?
Just a question about that, again, that second parcel. Can you talk to the owner and see what their plans are? They don't have to tell us, they don't have to, but it would be nice to find out if they're willing to give that up as a permanent green space area. Again, you can respond directly to the supervisor's office in the town of Lancaster with the answer.
Yes, sir. Okay. At this point, we should probably do seeker, right? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, probably have a seat now.
Okay.
So, this is a lawn form.
Oh, I have one.
Impact on land. Proposed action may involve construction on or physical alteration of the land surface of the proposed site.
We need to go through them.
Okay. Proposed action may involve construction on land where depth to water table is less than 3 feet.
Seven feet, according to their report, so, no.
Proposed action may involve construction on slopes of 15% or greater.
Yes,
Proposed action may involve construction on land where bedrock is exposed or generally within 5 foot of existing ground surface.
7 feet, no.
Proposed action may involve the excavation and removal of more than 1,000 tons of natural material.
I don't know what natural material means. If it means trees, then yes. What does natural material mean? Is that excavation?
Usually it's
It's excavation, right?
Soil.
Then no.
soil excavation.
Soil, yeah. So no. Proposed action may involve construction that continues for more than 1 year or in multiple phases.
No.
Proposed action may result in increased erosion, whether from physical disturbance or vegetation removal.
Yes.
Okay?
I mean, it needs to be mitigated, and that's up to them, but there can't be any, if you're gonna clear 2.5 acres of mature forest, you are going to have soil runoff. So, the answer is yes.
Okay.
Small, but it must be mitigated. There can't be any soil leaving the site, and she mentioned that they have a good drainage, well-drained soil, so that's because it's forested. Okay.
Proposed action is or may be located within a coastal erosion hazard area.
No, we don't have
We don't have that. Okay, so overall from one.
Minor, I guess.
Pardon?
Minor or no?
So we'll say no?
No.
It's a no. Number 2, impact on geological features. Proposed action may result in a modification or a destruction of or inhibit access to any unique or unusual landforms on the site.
Oh, no.
No. Number 3, impacts on surface water. Proposed action may affect one or more wetlands or other surface water bodies.
Well, we don't know the answer yet because they have a request into DEC and you haven't received your answer, correct? So we have to table this number. So number 3,
Number 3 will be tabled.
we have to table.
Number 4, impact on groundwater. Proposed action may result in new or additional use of groundwater or may have the potential to introduce contaminants to groundwater or an aquifer.
Better not be, say no.
So no?
Well, I'm reading it. No, the answer would be no.
No. Number 5, impact on flooding. Proposed action may result in development on land subject to flooding.
No.
No. 6, impact on air. Proposed action may include a state-regulated air emission source.
No. Read through them, you see that they're not.
Okay. 7, impact on plants and animals. Proposed action may result in loss of flora or fauna.
Well, here we go. We need to, significant, we need to go through this.
Okay. Proposed action may cause reduction in population or loss of individuals of any threatened or endangered species as listed by New York State or federal government that use the site or are found on, over, or near the site.
We don't know. It's up to them to find out. They may have to do a study.
Okay. Proposed action may result in reduction or degradation of any habitat used by any rare, threatened, or endangered species. I'm assuming the same answer?
You know, we have woodland turtles in western New York and they are threatened. So we don't know.
If I may on
Did
that.
anything come up in the, when you did your?
Yes, good, please.
Yes, yeah, we go through the EAF mapper, and we go through the mapping
mapper?
of the DEC and the federal, federal and state, no endangered species of flora or fauna.
Okay.
Well,
That's per the map.
that's according to the map. That doesn't mean they're not there.
Well, and the EAF mapper, which that stands here, the environmental resource mapper would stand on that. The new wetlands is just the limits.
I think we should finish the questions
Okay.
and then make our decision what to do.
Okay. Proposed action may cause reduction in population or loss of individuals of any species of special concern or conservation need as listed by New York State or the federal government that use the site are found on, over, or near the site.
That's the question she just answered.
Okay.
Not necessarily number 2. Okay?
So we'd say no to that?
We say no, actually, we say no. They weren't listed on the environmental mapping site. So we have to say, according to what they're saying, we have to say no. But if the board needs more information, it's up to the board to decide if they need more information.
Okay.
So it's probably a no.
Proposed action may result in reduction or degradation of any habitat used by any species of special concern and conservation need as listed by New York State or the federal government.
Same answer.
Okay. Proposed action may diminish the capacity of a registered national, is that the right one?
Natural landmark.
Landmark to support biological community, the biological community it was established to protect.
No, we don't have a landmark.
The proposed action may result in removal of or ground disturbance in any portion of a designated significant natural community.
Well, there you go. You got 2.5 acres of, to us, it doesn't say New York State or federal, it says portion of a designated significant natural community belongs to the town of Lancaster, I would believe it would be.
And I think that was the finding the last time.
Right, right,
That's where we got hung up, or stuck.
yeah.
Okay. So we'd say yes on that?
Mm-hmm.
Proposed action may substantially interfere with nesting, breeding, foraging, or overwinter habitat for the predominant species that occupy or use the project site.
Yes, they're gonna take everything away.
Yep. Proposed action may require the conversion of more than 10 acres of forest, grassland, or any other regionally or locally important habitat.
No,
No.
it's 2.5 acres.
Proposed action involves use of herbicides or pesticides.
Yes,
Okay, so overall, on number 7 then.
well,
More information needed?
I would think so. I would think we'd want to know exactly what they're taking out. With more of a detailed mapping of the age, the size, and the species of the forest, and what's in there.
So we've asked for that before. What have we asked for?
Well,
Just a map.
we're,
Tree
we,
survey.
Tree
A
survey?
tree study?
yeah, we had a discussion before of whether it was on the environmental resources map, and I say yes and they say no, and according to the so-called official map, the map was not updated to the map that we provided here a few years ago. So it was not adopted, our map was not adopted, it's the old map. So it doesn't show it as what's called an ERCOT. But under seeker, we have the right to ask for as much information as the planning board to get the best possible project. That's our job. We're appointed to do the best for the town to get the best possible project. And one of the things that could be done is find out how many trees and what kind there, and what kind of mitigation could they do.
Jennifer, are we able to ask for a tree study?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, we can.
It's reasonably related to the project.
Okay.
So are we limiting it to anything over 6 inches, which is typical? Or, you know, because it's mostly mature beech and oak there. And beech puts out a huge amount of beech nuts every year for habitat. They're a great food source. And you look at this project compared to the part of the parcel that's being left behind, and you're taking out a lot. I don't travel this way very often. I've been up on Maple Road more since this project came in than I have in the past 2-3 years. There's turkey running around. There's a lot, well, deer are not necessarily my favorite, but there are a lot of them. And this is a small parcel compared to the overall size of the wetland along Transit and Maple, and the property that is otherwise protected. So you folks are really lucky that you don't have a big development right up to Transit that goes all the way back to your backyards. But this parcel is not otherwise protected. It's zoned properly, but we have some issues. So I want to ask the board, what do you think should we ask for? We could ask for a tree survey, telling us what you're taking out, how big they are, how old, you can guess about how old some of these are. And I think some of them are over 100 years old, easy. What species, what size, how many?
I think we're going to need a tree survey
I think we're gonna need
to
a-
answer this question, to answer this one. Right?
So let me ask you this, if we get the tree survey, what's that gonna do for us?
We can ask for mitigation. Mitigation could be on the site, mitigation could be to ask them to purchase the buffer next door and put it in town property in perpetuity. It could be some other type of mitigation. You guys are smart, they'll think of something.
Right.
But you're not going to force that seller to sell more land than he or she's willing to sell.
Pardon?
You can't force this.
You're not going to force the seller to sell land that's not
Absolutely not, absolutely not.
for sale.
It's not for sale at this time. But we
And
can ask for mitigation at different locations.
if they're developing the whole lot like they are, then,
There's nothing to save if they're
Right.
taking it out. But in order to take out a massive amount of hardwoods, the hardwood forest, is there any mitigation that could be acquired in other parts of the town, or the town would like to expand its,
I think that goes above what the town code requires.
is it in the town code? Did you-
No, it's
above-
not
it's
required
more
in
than
the
we
town
can
code.
ask.
It's more than the town code asks for.
Okay.
And if I may, I was going to ask what was required in the town code. I mean, is every wooded parcel getting a tree survey? Is there a certain acreage? Is there, I mean,
Well, more than you would think, we do.
just,
It does come up a lot. I didn't recall the name of it, but I mean, it has come up in the heavily wooded area. This is different. It's very densely wooded area that we're not used to really talking about. But when it does, it is pretty common, yeah.
And to us, in order to make the right decision, right, we need more information for this particular one. Otherwise, if we had to make a decision now, who knows which, it probably isn't going to go the right way.
Is there a way to get the information from the last time that you're referring to? I mean, is there?
Should be available.
I mean-
Cindy could probably access. When they wanted to build that hotel, it was probably about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, on the same site, same
So
owner.
It's before
Not current.
I was around, but I mean, I'd be interested to see what the holdup actually was at that time, if it's still something that's
Because
existed.
there was an analysis of that forest, and it was a very special forest for some reason. And I think they called it a climax forest.
It is. It's a
Yeah.
climax forest, which means it is succeeded into beech, oak, and maple is a New York State climax forest. And from there, it doesn't change. And that's why the trees are so old, and they do die, but you're gonna get more beech.
So does that mean it was protected at that time, or it was?
It was not set
Chosen
aside.
to be.
It was not set aside for the protection, otherwise it wouldn't be under private ownership.
Okay. Okay.
Can we move on?
We have to.
Okay. Number 8, impact on agricultural resources. The proposed action may impact agricultural resources.
No.
No. Number 9, impact on aesthetic resources. The land use of the proposed action are obviously different from or in sharp contrast to current land use patterns between the proposed project and a scenic or aesthetic resource.
I mean, that's an opinion of aesthetics, right?
Shall we go through?
We should go through the question.
Okay. Proposed action may be visible from any officially designated federal, state, or local scenic or aesthetic resource. No. Proposed action may result in the obstruction, elimination, or significant screening of one or more officially designated scenic views.
Nope.
No. Proposed action may be visible from publicly accessible vantage points, seasonally or year-round.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay? Situation or activity in which viewers are engaged while viewing the proposed action is routine travel by residents, including travel to and from work,
Yes.
recreational or tourism-based activities.
No.
Okay? Proposed action may cause a diminishment of the public enjoyment and appreciation of the designated aesthetic resource.
I mean, there's no nature trails, there's no park. It's hard to say yes to. I don't see that.
No or small impact, if any?
I would say no.
Okay? There are similar projects visible within the following distance of the proposed project. 0 to a half a mile, half to 3 miles, 3 to 5 miles, 5+ miles.
There's lots of.
There's all of them, as we just heard, right? Yep, yep.
Mhm.
So overall?
It doesn't.
No?
It has to be a no.
No. Number 10, impact on historic and archaeological resources. The proposed action may occur in or adjacent to a historic or archaeological resource.
It's been signed off, hasn't it? So no.
Yeah, SHPO signed off.
Signed off.
SHPO signed off.
Shippo signed off, right? So it's a no. Okay. Number 11, impact on open space and recreation. The proposed action may result in loss of recreational opportunities or reduction of an open space resource as designated in an adopted municipal open space plan.
No, it's not open to the public.
Number 12 is not applicable. We don't have critical environmental areas. Number 13, impact on transportation. Proposed action may result in a change to existing transportation systems.
No.
No. 14, impact on energy. Proposed action may cause an increase in the use of any form of energy.
Nothing abnormal for the grid.
No. No. 15, impact on noise, odor, and light. Proposed action may result in an increase in noise, odors, or outdoor lighting.
Not if they're meeting the code for lighting.
No.
Well, we heard
Yeah,
dark
not
sky,
according to the code,
quiet,
no.
so I'd say it's a no, right? 16, impact on human health. Proposed action may have an impact on human health from exposure to new or existing sources of contaminants. No. 17, consistency with community plans. Proposed action is not consistent with adopted land use plans.
No, it's
It's-
own property.
Right, so it's a no. 18, consistency with community character. Proposed project is inconsistent with the existing community character.
Well, now, we have to define community at that point.
It's, do you look to the left or do you look to the right? It's not inconsistent.
And it's not, it's zoned commercial, there's hotels around, it's not inconsistent if we're talking about the big community, if we're talking about the smaller community. I mean, it just depends on which way we look at it when we answer that. I would say it's, I would say it's not inconsistent with that.
I think you should go through the questions.
Yeah.
I will go through the questions. The proposed action may replace or eliminate existing facilities, structures, or areas of historic importance to the community.
No, facilities and structures.
No. Proposed action may create a demand for additional community services.
For example, schools, police, and fire. Yes. The police, there's a demand for
Especially
more
police.
police. There could be a demand for more police services.
Well, any development's gonna
course it
require
is.
that.
But it's going to be, it's going to be a small, right? I mean,
Small.
so the answer is either no, or small impact may occur, or moderate to large impact. This, I would say, is
I'd say
a small,
small.
right? Proposed action may displace affordable or low-income housing in an area where there is shortage of such housing.
No.
Proposed action may interfere with the use or enjoyment of officially recognized or designated public resources.
Well, no.
No.
Proposed action is inconsistent with predominant architectural scale and character,
Tony, it's a little high.
but it's consistent with the other ones that's right across the,
Right next to
right?
it.
It's the same, okay.
Proposed action is inconsistent with the character of the existing natural landscape.
Well, that's a yes, but it's not. I mean, the natural landscape is the woods, and when that's gone, it's gone. So how do you answer that? It's a trick question.
It's not a trick question. We have it on all, the answer is no.
The answer is no.
Okay, so overall, then the answer would be no for this one?
The answer is no.
So we are tabled as a matter of 3, if I'm not mistaken, right? Number 3, and then we were also looking for a tree survey?
It was 3, and it was 7?
7?
7, F and G?
At this point, I look for a motion to table the seeker. Pending
Make a motion to table the seeker pending
the
a
information
response to our-
requested.
Yeah, additional information regarding the 2 seeker items we just talked about.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Okay. Rebecca, you know what we're looking for at this point, right, in order for us to continue? Okay. Okay, great. Thank you very much. And thank you, folks.
They have a right.
Nothing at all.
It makes no difference.
So you can, it's got to be on there somewhere.
I'm just waiting for them to,
Yeah.
because yeah.
I'm kind of old school, I'm sorry.
Appreciate that.
Hey, there you go.
Suntan I've been getting the last few months.
I was at a meeting when people came from New York City and they had 10 experts on everything on screen, and the system completely died. And they came out with a single board. So I got a site plan.
It actually makes me really happy.
We finished our review, so I didn't get the comments out, but I got an email from my guy, so.
Okay, we're going to move on to our next item, which is site plan presentation for project number 2262, Chipotle Restaurant at 6727 Transit Road.
Good evening, my name is James Baglioli. I'm an attorney for Benderson Development, 570 Delaware Avenue, Buffalo, New York. I'm here on behalf of Benderson. It's been a while since I've been here. I know the board is probably familiar with this site. We own it. It is everything that's in red. It includes the movie theater, which is staying open luckily. The Hobby Lobby. It includes a retail building with a mix of retailers in here. We also own the Starbucks, which is next door to it. We have since bought the other properties. We own all three of these, I believe, now across the front. So this is all our property. What we're talking about is the site of the former Quaker Steak and Lube. Then it was a Mexican restaurant, and it's been vacant for a little bit while. That building was about 7,200 square feet. I was going to come here and say we were proposing to demo it, but I drove by it. I live in Clarence, and it's already down. So
It's gone.
We got a head start with taking that building down. As I noted, we're going to demolish the building. Instead, we're going to build a 2,300 square foot Chipotle. And this is the area where the Quaker Steak and Lube sits. As part of the site, we're going to have a future development area for a building about the same size. So we're basically downsizing the development there. We have 7,200 square feet. We're building a 2,300 square foot building. It'll fit about another 2,300 square foot building. So overall, we're making the site smaller and reducing any impacts such as traffic. We're not changing any curb cuts. We're not impacting the roadway in any way. And the way the site works is we're going to have a patio up in front. Chipotle is going to be oriented this way. They have a drive-up pickup window. It is not a drive-through. There is no drive-through equipment. You need to order on your app. When the app says the food is ready, you come and pick it up and you drive away. You cannot order in the drive-through. So there's no ability. They usually stack 1 or 2 cars there because people know the food's ready. They just don't want to get out of the car. And that is a result of COVID. Chipotle used to never have any sort of pickup ability, but COVID kind of forced them into having that option because that was the only way they could deliver food, so now they require it. There is a requirement to stack 10 cars. We stack 7. We're going to ask for a waiver only because it's not a drive-through. It's just a pickup window, and they don't stack 10. They could stack 10 on site. They would just come through, but we don't need that work. We are not changing any of the means of disturbance. All the way around, the curbs remain the same. We're just working within the parking lot area. The patio is about 17 by 26. It'll have 22 seats. Our code for parking, we require 36 stalls. We provide 78, but the additional parking will eventually be required by the future user. So that's basically the project. It's attractive. I did provide elevations to the board. They use an attractive mix of materials and colors at this point. It'll be an attractive restaurant. It's consistent with the other tenants that are in their area, the Starbucks, the Dairy Queen, the other restaurants we have and buildings. So that's basically, it's a simple project. I'm happy to answer any questions the board has.
Does Chipotle have a different aesthetic? Or is it all just one? nationwide.
They're doing this nationwide for all their freestanding buildings.
Okay.
They will locate somewhere, sometimes in other buildings that are built.
Sometimes in a strip mall.
In a strip. They're shying away from that only because they need the pickup window, and it's often hard to fit a pickup window in a lot of those buildings. We were able to do one in Hamburg, I believe, where we were able to stick them at the end and put a pickup window on the back of the building. But typically, they're now looking for a freestanding building, consistent architecture across the country with a pickup window so they could deliver the food.
Any other questions from the board?
No.
I was wondering about your landscaping plan, and you have a few new trees coming in, but, and then the part that where the building is coming down that you're saving for future development, is that going to be paved over, just grassed over?
We're going to grass it and put a fence around it. So
Okay.
typically, we leave those out parcels grassed with a fence around them.
So it's on hold until
Yes.
something else comes?
Yeah, we don't want to pave it because you don't know where the bounds of pavement are going to be, and you don't want to put trees there because then we're just.
You'll be taking them down.
We're going to be cutting them down, so.
I've been complaining about that.
So basically, we'll leave it, when we come back with the building, we'll landscape around that building, and we'll grass, this is as big as the building could be. That's why I'm saying it's not going to really exceed 2,500 square feet. It's all we have left, really, to fit in there. And we'll come back with a building, it'll have a landscape plan, we'll come back to the planning board, address any comments.
Okay, okay.
And we're not impacting any trees. It's all asphalt.
You're leaving everything else
Yep.
that's up in the corners?
Yep.
Yeah. I noticed your use of, on your plans of Zerkova, which is like, it's a ornamental, trying to find something that takes over from the elms.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
thought it was kind of innovative to come up with something.
We really, if you've seen our sites, we've really invested a lot of effort and money in our landscaping. If you go around both Clarence and Lancaster and Amherst, and we spend a lot of money on it. We like it to stay, and we've had some success with those. So we're going to see how they do.
Okay, I'm good. I just wanted to know what you're doing with the
Yeah.
parcel and you're not building on it.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
At all.
Ed, anything from engineering?
No, we wrapped up the analysis just this morning, actually, so comments will be going out this week. We've got some comments on the stormwater, but I don't think it's going to be anything major.
Yeah, and we'll have our engineer address those and resubmit.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thanks, Ed. Jennifer, anything from legal?
Nothing.
He stole your thunder again?
No, not this time.
Should switch seats next time.
Matt, anything from building department?
Yeah, I just want to bring up a point of clarification, and I agree, this is not a drive-through window. It is a drive-in facility, as identified in the code, as a drive-in customer facility or service window. This is located in an area of high traffic. We have high residential occupancies nearby, and the name brand itself, I would not even question that as a possibility of 10 people picking up their orders at 5 o'clock. So just clarification, it's technically not a drive-through where you place your order and you're waiting in line to pick it up, but it is a service window, and that's identified in the code.
And just to address that, as I said, you order your food on the app, it notifies you when the food is ready. So that the food, when you get to the window, is ready. And we have one in Hamburg. If they stack 2, 3, or 4 cars, that's the most they're stacking, because people are not coming way in advance to get in line. There's no reason to get in line. It's much like when you order from DoorDash or any of those things. I'm not familiar with that. My kids use it a lot. But it says, the food's being processed, the food will be ready at 6:30. At 6:30, you show up. So their method is not to have anyone stacking. It's not like McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, anything like that. Where
Would
you
you
show up
consider any kind of signage that indicates wait here until you're notified or something along those
I have
lines?
no problem putting a sign up like that. Don't get in line till your order's ready, or I'll work with them on some sort of notification.
I mean, you still have to go through the waiver,
Yeah.
obviously, so that's completely
Yeah.
out of our hands, but should that waiver be granted, I think that might be,
I mean,
and if it comes down, it comes down. If it's not,
the bottom line is, if you wanted me to stack 3 more cars, they would stack up this way. We would just slide the area over. We have the room. It's not that we have the room. We just don't call it out as area because we don't need it. I mean, we hate to build additional asphalt and stacking we've gotten away from that we don't need.
Supervisor Leary, anything from you?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, I don't think we have to do anything on this one now, right?
Just a presentation.
It's presentation.
You presented.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We'll be seeing you again. You do have a special use at public hearing that will be coming up.
Yep, and we submitted that out.
Went out, yeah, that's not.
But we're still within the period.
So you're gonna send us those questions, those comments?
Yeah, it should be out this week.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
yep.
you.
Thank you very much.
Seeker started on the 23rd. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Do site plan and seeker review for project 2472, United Rental Container Storage at 2 Benzo Court.
Just look at the site plan, it should be the fourth one down, I think. Oh, right there. One up, one up.
Back up.
Page 3, yeah. Good evening, Anthony Pandolfi with Carmina Wood Design, project engineer. You guys have seen this project a couple times already, so I think you're familiar with it. Since we were here last, we did respond to Ed's engineering comments. That did bring about one change in the site plan that I just want to note. Basically, due to Ed's comments, we looked at the topography of the entire site, not just the newly developed portion, and kind of concluded that that stormwater all comes down to the south. That caused us to reevaluate the hydrology of the site, which led to having to increase that stormwater pond. So basically, the gravel lot that these containers would be stored on got smaller. It was previously at 30 feet, I think 30 feet from the property line. I think it went about 10 feet further than that. So it got decreased by about 10 feet along that southern property line. Just some things to note. We are going to pursue a variance for the stacking height for the containers. That cannot be done until we get a seeker recommendation from you guys and then ultimately a negative declaration from the town board. We do plan on filing the special use permit that is required along with that variance application to the town clerk. That also will go to the town board. I believe when we were here last, the seeker period hadn't expired. It has now, so that's what we would be looking for here tonight. But if there's any questions or comments, I can take them.
Any questions from the board?
No, this was a site that I spent quite a bit of time standing on that bridge looking at your site.
I remember.
And I went down and rode my bike around.
The tallest bridge in Lincoln.
Yeah, I came down and looped around and was looking, I mean, there's some habitat in there that we're losing. There's some black willows and some cottonwoods that are gonna be gone, but you're not gonna get anything else in there.
One less cottonwood as far as,
Yeah,
it's not a
well-
bad thing.
There's a lot of habitat in cottonwoods and black willows. That's where your orioles live. But other than that, is we have short form, right?
Yep. Ed, anything from engineering?
Again, we finished our review of the holidays and stuff. We were just a little bit behind, but they've addressed all the engineering comments, so.
Jennifer?
We are waiting for the name of the entity that will be responsible for stormwater facility.
I think we got that.
Okay, wonderful.
And I had not heard back from Ed, but I guess if he's good with engineering, I think we would also ask for a recommendation on site plan as well then, if that's possible.
Fine. It's up to you, but I'm good with the site plan.
Okay.
Matt, anything from building department?
Nothing that's already been discussed.
Okay. Supervisor Larry, did I ask you already?
No, you didn't.
I didn't ask you. Sorry about that, sir.
I do have some questions. Sure. Or so we can find out how many containers are going to be in there altogether? What are the containers going to be used for? Are they going to be going somewhere, holding something washed up before they come back? And how high are we planning to put those containers?
Last time I remember they were empty. Mostly,
Yes,
right?
yes. So this will be used for storage of empty, unrented containers, just a place to be able to store them until they're being used. So they will be empty as far as the amount. That depends entirely on the demand. However, there are setback requirements, but as from the property line that we can stack them. It's 50 feet. So that, they're not allowed to be stacked 50 feet. Minimum 50 feet from the property line. The height, I think it's on our, can you zoom in on that site data box? The height of the containers is about 20 feet each, so we're looking at a stacking height of 40 feet total. I believe the code allows for, I can't remember off the top of my head. 16? Yes, so we would ask for a variance for that height.
Anthony, there it is.
There it is. Yes. Oh, we're asking for 30 feet, the code allows 16. So, as I've noted in past meetings, there's really nothing around this site. To the west is the driving range, to the east is Cemetery Road, and across Cemetery is vacant land. To the south is the railroad, so not much of an impact really, though, when it comes to any disturbance to the neighboring properties.
So I don't think, maybe I missed it, but the containers are going to be used for what?
They're going to be empty, unrented containers, just to store until they get used.
Okay, then they're used, then are they brought back to the same location to be stored again?
Not always. It depends on where they have availability to store them.
Are there going to be food items in these things? Do you have any idea?
Empty.
No.
Oh, while they're being used? No, I don't know exactly what they'll be used for now.
Okay, again, I don't want to see a whole bunch of, it's used for food, not properly cleaned out, get rats or whatever down to the area there. Is there any, mitigation for that?
Yeah, United Rent, I believe they're usually, these are like shipping containers, so I don't think it's going to be like food waste in there and stuff like that. I think it's really more for material shipping. And I'm sure that they take every measure to clean them out before they get rented again, so.
Thank you.
Okay, this looks like a short form if I'm looking at this properly. Oh, I'm sorry. Any comments from the public? Sorry about that, I just keep forgetting about that. Nope. Okay. We'll move on to the short form then.
Do you have one?
I do. Number 1, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in change in the use or intensity of the use of land?
It's changing it, but it's minimal.
Minimal, no or small, so we can say small. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No.
Number 4 is not applicable. Number 5, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
No.
Number 7, will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies? No. Public or private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Number 8, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action, number 9, will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources?
Minimal.
No or small impact, okay. Number 10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No, it's addressed through the drainage system.
And number 11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No.
Wait.
Okay, at this point, look for a motion from the board.
Move to declare negative declaration.
A second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Make a recommendation to the town board for a negative declaration.
Are we doing site plan now?
Site plan?
When you do something, when they're waiting for zoning.
They're waiting for the.
Oh, we can't do site plan.
Oh, variance, yep.
Oh, you can't do site plan until variance. Oh, okay. Well, we will move on to
See you
that
soon.
step now. We have to wait for the town board to pass before we can file the variance, correct? Okay. Well, we will.
We'll see you again.
Once we're done with that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to our last project for the night. Site plan presentation for project number 4159, Chevetta's Restaurant at 5389 Genesee Street. And thank you for waiting to the end.
No problem at all. I did submit a PowerPoint presentation. I don't know if that was received or not. If not, I did print out some copies for you. Yeah, it was about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Okay.
Of course you are. What do you need it?
I'm coming at how fast things download for who compared to when I
Oh,
was-
at home? Yeah.
Where I go do the dishes.
You might want to get up your speed a little bit. Get rid of your dial-up.
There's no.
Can you picture the sound?
I started loading stuff on a stick.
Oh, you can't?
Well, they make dishwashers now.
Yeah.
And you're never gonna look at it.
Sorry.
Perfect.
4 years ago, 6 shiploads today. Every once in a while, wait a second, I'll send that one out again.
What's that?
Yeah. Okay, great. All right. Hi, my name is Pat Cheedy from Kramer Wood Design. I'm the project engineer on behalf of Chevetta's Chicken tonight. We also have Ryan McCarthy, legal consultant, as well as Kathleen Chevetta and Tim Boyle, the owner's representative. Tonight we're proposing redevelopment of the Alley Oops restaurant, southeast corner of Harris Hill and Genesee. This project was initially presented to the town board in November of 2024. We made a formal site plan and special use permit application on December 17th, 2024. If you want to slide down a little bit. There's the existing restaurant. Keep going. There's the project site currently. It is split into 2 separate SPL numbers, but it does go by a single address of 5389 Genesee Street. If you want to go to the next slide. This is just an existing topographic map of site itself. So the improvements we'd be proposing are on the south side of the building and some minor parking improvements on the west side, which I'll get to in a minute. If you want to scroll down to the next slide. Just a snippet of the current zoning map. The current zoning of this parcel is multifamily mixed use, or multifamily multi-use, excuse me, which a restaurant is allowed with a special use permit, hence the reason for the submittal and application there. Excuse me. If you want to keep scrolling down. And that was that slide there, detailing the allowable uses. Here's the proposed site plan for the project. Currently, on the north side of the property along Genesee Street, that was recently paved within the last year due to the Erie County Water Authority replacing the water line that runs through the existing parking lot. That parking has not been restriped yet, so we're just simply proposing to reestablish that striped parking there. And then on the west side, we are proposing to remove and replace the existing broken asphalt there and reestablishing the existing 5 parking spaces. As far as the building is concerned, there's minor facade updates. We're removing some of the existing kind of wooden trellis features on the south and east side, and some minor coloring and signage improvements. And then on the south side, we'll be building 2 exterior coolers and an outdoor cook shelter where the cooking operations will take place. If you want to scroll down to the next slide. These are some proposed renderings of what the improvements would look like. The existing patio will remain. As I noted, the existing sign will be rebranded to the Chevettas brand. And there you can see the cook shelter on the south side of the building there. And these are just the elevations prepared by Sutton Architecture. I'm going to go to the next slide. And then this is the cook shelter itself. So there will be 2 separate grilling stations back there. There will be floor drains, there will be water back there, there will be heat, there will be lighting, everything they need for their cooking operations. If you want to go to the next slide. We understand we have not expired the 30-day seeker review period yet, but we did submit the short EAF that was circulated to all interested and involved agencies. We have received notice that the town of Lancaster has issued a lead agency solicitation letter. We did receive a no impact letter from New York State SHPO office, and we did receive initial comments from the DEC stating that they have no involvement in the project. Given the nature of the site as an existing restaurant, we're just proposing a new restaurant. We don't think that there are any significant environmental impacts to the area. And with that, I'll turn it over to Kathleen to give you a little snippet on the Chevettas business itself.
Thank you for your time tonight. This is my second time in front of you. Do you need me in front of the microphone? Are we recording?
Yes, please.
Sure. This is my second time in front of you, so with your permission, I'll skip the little spiel I did last time on who Chevettas is and what we do, unless anyone would like me to repeat that. But again, as we've stated, we're not really looking to make any major changes to the facility, some minor facade updates, some kitchen reconstruction, and the addition of the cook shelter. But it was a restaurant, as you all know, for 40 years. We're looking to turn it into a slightly different style of restaurant, and not looking to make major changes to it. Anything I missed? Nope. Any questions for me?
Different style, that means you don't want my business there? 'Cause I used to go there all the time.
Did you not go to, yeah. No, yeah, all are welcome, but yeah, a little bit different
I'm just a little,
style.
I guess I just don't understand what an outdoor cooking pavilion is. What is an outdoor cooking
Ever been
pavilion?
to Lawn Fete?
So are you familiar with our cooking setup, how we typically cook? So we cook outside, right? It's not an indoor style of cooking. So if you look at either our home base in Brant or our location in Lockport, we cook under a shelter. It's not really conducive what we do. As you just said, the Lawn Fete, a little rainy at your Lawn Fete. It's, it presents a little bit of a challenge. So all it is it's more or less a pavilion. Think of something like a picnic shelter that we're cooking underneath.
Okay.
So even though you're having a full restaurant
And kitchen, yeah.
you're going to cook your chicken outside all the time and serve it to the patrons in the
Yes,
restaurant?
correct.
Or your chicken steak.
It's part of the process.
I pity the fool that's cooking tonight.
Yeah. Well, they're used to cooking in all kinds of weather.
Do they have a pickup feature as far as because I know that's usually, I run by St. Philip's, the line is stacked.
Yeah, when we do pop-ups.
Right.
Yeah, yes, we will have, so it is going to be more like a quick service style pickup takeout restaurants where there will be a pickup option, yes.
Do the other facilities have a large stack up of cars, or is it?
No, because there is no drive-through, there is no pickup window. You'll have to park and come inside.
Oh, so it's not going to be a drive up and pick up.
No, I mean, we've toyed around with the idea of curbside. You let us know you're there and we run the food out, but there will be no drive-through, like you heard on Chipotle, there's no drive-up window, nothing like that. You have to physically park your car.
Cool.
Anything else?
Any other questions from the board?
You're cooking on the south side of the building? Oh,
The pavilion?
Yes.
The pavilion?
Yeah.
South side
How
existing
how
building.
close is your nearest neighbor?
Couple hundred feet.
Couple
I
hundred
think it's
feet?
at about 250 feet.
They're gonna be smelling chicken all the time.
It does smell good.
That's our hope, anyway. It'll smell good.
Prevailing wind should blow the wind away from them.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. is-
Prevailing wind should blow it,
Prevailing.
Blow over to Tim Hortons.
should blow it to that commercial building next door most of the time.
I know sometimes, you see guys like flipping the
Canine
big racks of chickens and stuff, and big poof, the smoke comes up. and
Yep.
I was just making sure, I'm just wondering if you ever have any, like, smoke that.
Yeah, I mean,
Goes off with a big
so the design, we don't have it up anymore, but the design of that cook shelter is, the hope of it is to kind of pull a lot of that smoke up and out. At the end of the day, smoke has a mind of its own. It is not common, again, we run to other locations and our pop-ups and things like that you're familiar with. It is not common for smoke to become excessive where it's traveling in any kind of, the smell is one thing, it might be lingering a little bit, but it's not common for the smoke to be heavily carrying
It's
that
charcoal.
far.
It's charcoal, right?
Yes.
And when you clean out your charcoal and your ash and stuff, I'm just curious, how do you dispose of that?
We have an ash bin.
You have an ash bin?
Yeah. Yep. We wait, the fire, it does not get, so charcoal lays till it's dormant. It doesn't get emptied necessarily, at the end of the night, right when they're done, we let it have time to cool so it's all done. But then it goes into the ash bin, yes, where that's all contained.
That's on site?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Yep. Anything else?
Any other questions from the board?
No.
Okay.
Ed, anything from engineering?
Engineering was fine. It's redevelopment of existing site, so there's
Right.
nothing really new to worry about.
Jennifer, anything from legal?
No,
Thank you.
we're good.
Matt, anything from building? Supervisor Leary, anything?
No, sir.
At this point, we'll ask for any public input. I know there's nobody here, but I want to make sure
We're the public, that's
I just want to make sure that I throw it out there because I think I forgot to do it on one of them.
Okay.
Okay, we're good. Thank you very
I'll
much.
say it's refreshing that something's looking to go in there so
Yes,
quickly.
yes.
Same.
Yeah, thank you, we appreciate that.
Thank you very
Your
much.
time, everyone.
We'll be seeing you again. Any items from the board that they'd like to discuss? Rebecca, welcome again. Welcome back. Nothing? Okay. Ed, anything from engineering?
No.
Jennifer, anything from legal?
No, I'm happy.
Thank you.
I'm hungry.
Matt,
I do have one item. I met with a former applicant, there's a site plan review, it started in 2021. COVID, market share, pricing, everything kind of derailed it. My recollection of this project was that it was dispatched as dead, dormant, set aside. It would have been the Valvoline oil change on Transit Road. I did meet with the project sponsor again this afternoon. I'm just looking for some direction either from this board, the town board, or Tom Kearney as to the status of the original application. Original was type 2 action, but the referral was out. Is it the board's pleasure, the town's pleasure to start from scratch or continue on with the application as it was presented?
that's the one that the voicemail you just sent me today, right?
That's correct, yes.
And I saw that, Jennifer, you responded to that. You said you'd look and see what.
But we were looking through the file, and Matt,
Yeah.
So I met with him, I wanted to get some kind of dialogue going, hopefully an answer prior, but
No modifications to their original?
no, it's gonna pretty much stay the same. Their biggest setback there was gaining that secondary access from the Coles driveway, but they were able to accomplish that. So again, I just need some direction from the board as to how to.
Are we able to use the old one?
I don't think I kept any of the plans. It's been so
yeah,
long.
I don't know if you would even have enough copies
Yeah,
of everything to look at.
So maybe they could submit just a new site plan showing the two driveways, because I don't think that was on the first set.
Was seeker completed, coordinated, it was done?
It was referred, it was a type 2 action,
Oh, well,
And this was before my time, I know.
2021.
And they paid all of their fees at that time?
Fees were paid at the time, and again, it laid dormant for 3 years.
This is a fast oil change place?
Yeah, Valvoline Oil.
Yeah. We did
Right-
filter
right at the
through a lot
entrance
of
to Kohl's.
projects and
There's a-
identify
there's a
some
house
as
there now.
being dead,
I think it's a house.
others that we reached out to.
I think we need another one of those over there, but whatever.
We didn't find any action in the file that it was ever
Closed?
closed. It just,
So it's
it was
laying
just
dormant with
laying
us?
oh,
dormant.
if it's not closed, it's not closed, right?
Right, so it was never denied it for inaction or anything. so.
Yeah,
But I think the board might need additional copy.
Well, again, I wasn't even on the board at the time, so I don't even
Right.
have any, I can't access anything, records from it, I don't have them.
Right.
I don't have anything anymore either, because I remember asking you about it, you said as far as you knew, it was dead, all it went. So I don't mind picking up where we left off as far as procedurally, that they've already paid their fees, but we need fresh pieces of paper.
Assuming we can do that legally, and you just said we can, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that, too.
Same here.
Works for me. So,
I'll relay that information, and I would anticipate a submittal shortly.
great, thanks. Anything else, Matt?
That's it, thank you.
Supervisor Leary?
I am all set, thank you very much.
Okay. Well, at this point, I'll look for a motion, or I'm sorry, I'll make a motion to adjourn. I'm going to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
My first official action is a.
You're gonna pick it up. Hit it like you mean it, will you?
Meeting adjourned.
Say it like you mean it.
So was it similar to that, last one?
Worse. Much worse.
Yeah. Way worse. These people
Maybe it was the guy in charge of the gavel.
Maybe.
After a while, you can only say the same thing over and over.
But we.
There was
Probably
15 more people, and it was on the other site too, the second site.
Oh, yeah, that was.
Oh, yeah, that was,